Well, welcome back, guys, gals, and everybody in between. Jed Scott here as always. In today's video, well, we're going to talk about a couple of things, but I hope you enjoy this video because it's going to be a fun experience. And by a fun experience, I mean we're going to delve deep into my mind and how it works. Thanks to my therapy sessions and everything else, seeking out mental help for my anxiety and everything else I deal with, PTSD that they say I have. And I want to first say that in the beginning of this video, if you have anything, if you deal with any kind of depression, anxiety, PTSD, any of those disorders, not all doctors and not all therapists are bad. You just got to find the right guy and never give up hope on looking. Just like on your hot rods and your dreams, you can't give up on them. Here we go. So one of my cars here, this red 64 Polara, which I know you guys may be really confused because at first we were going to sell it, then we're going to keep it, then we're going to sell it, then we're going to keep it. It's super rusty. I don't want to fix it, blah, blah, blah. I'm a crybaby. I got over it, and I've started to fix the floors already. But one thing, yeah, that happened. One thing that I noticed with myself, I've been thinking, why can't I get myself motivated to get this really neat big block 4-speed 64 Dodge done? Just like we did on the old Barracuda, which was a complete barren shell of a race car that people said shouldn't have been put back together, but we did anyways. But it was also built in a similar fashion. Let me just take you for a tour. Let's go for a tour. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw up a picture of every single car we currently have, the day we bought it and shortly after we bought it, because you're gonna see a trend right here. And the trend that I noticed is that anytime I personally put something together, I like to see the vision of the vehicle, what it's gonna look like, and wheels and tires, it is no surprise, make or break things. So, let's go look at some cars. Namely, get an idea for the Barracuda. I mean, in a sense, Erling technically counts, but we never changed them. But a car, however, like my 70 Charger Jezebel, this car, literally a few days after we bought it, we had it on 14x10 slot mags. And then not long after that, he was sitting on these very 15x6 Keystones and 15x10 Keystones. Literally a few days after I bought the car, and we built the car on the look of the big Keystones. That was the driving force. Now my old high school car is a little bit different story. This car started out on the stock 14x7 or 14x6 Magnum 500 wheels. But it never looked good because there was so much wheel well. And we put wide 14x10 slot mags, in fact the same ones that were on Jezebel, on the back with slot mags in the front, and that was the start of putting fat tires on everything. And eventually wound up with these Kragers, which had rusted out centers, no chrome, so I painted them gloss black back in high school. And this car was then built mostly on these wheels and tires, these exact Kragers. And the Duster is a car that I've had a hard time falling in love with because I never liked the wheels and tires on it. I wasn't a huge fan of the Pro Stars. And I'm not a huge fan of Torque Thrust, but god dang, these ones look freaking sweet. So what I've come to notice with every vehicle we put together, including Dad's van and his Charger, which if you guys were curious, Von Duque is still right here and doing fantastic, but it was built mostly on those Keystones. We never could quite get into the vibe of the van build until we had the 1510 Keystones and 15x7 or 8s up in the front. And of course the Mickey Thompson wide white letter tires, oh, they look fantastic. Well, the old Dodge Semi, well, not much we can say really about that one, but the Yard Dart is a car that when I first got it, it had mismatched wheels and tires on all four corners, and eventually settled on the 15.8 Kragers and the 15x5.5 65 Dart Charger Kragers in the front. Well, 14-inch Kragers. So what I'm getting at is you got to understand yourself. You got to figure out how your brain works, and that was something I kind of forgot. And Dad's car is a great example of, it was built on these 15-10 slot mags and 15 by 7 or 8s in the front. Point is, and I'm beating a dead horse for a reason, because all these vehicles were built on their wheels and tires. Literally, the final look for wheels and tires were basically on these vehicles. That's how we got the vision and kept the vision. And speaking of vision, there's a wheel brand that didn't cut me a deal, but they also offer about the cheapest wheels known to man. And I think I may have found wheels to finally get me motivated to work on my Polara. Well, those wheels were delivered today. So what do you say? Let's get those wheels, put them on this rinky-dink dolly here, and let's go look at them and see if we bought the right stuff and if they look as cool as they do online. Because God, I hope so. Even though they were some of the cheapest wheels I could find, wheels ain't cheap. So let's take a look. I know that those wheels are actually really light for being 2 in each of those boxes. Kind of wondering if there are even wheels in there. Oh, and we got the lug nuts too. And before we show those wheels off, I want to address something. The reason why we're not doing the gold slots here is because I only have the 2 gold anodized slots, and the other 2 are small bolt pattern skinnies for the dart. So technically these belong to the dart. And I was having a heck of a time finding another pair of 15 by 7 slot mags with the correct back spacing, which was 3.5. That's what those 2 have right there, and these guys have, but I couldn't find anything with that back spacing. And I had no luck finding a true 15 by 8 with 4.5 back spacing, because that's what it requires on these. So it kind of kicks out this cool look. And I just have to be honest, I never could buy into the steel wheel look. I've just never been a steel wheel dog dish hubcap guy, and I like this look, but just not with a whole lot of wheel well sticking out. So let's dig into it. We're gonna give this a shot. I hope we got a good camera angle here. Oops, gotta cut the tape, not the box. You know, the one time you use a razor blade instead of a screwdriver, you miss. Of course, I can't help it. I'm excited. Come on, be what I wanted. Okay, that's just cruel. That is so cruel. So these are Vision wheels. They are a Shift 148. And yes, I paid for these. They didn't give them to me. All right, we got a 15 by 7, what it looks like. What do we got? Ooh. So, what do you think? Huh? Too modern? Too flashy? Too bad. So that's one of our front wheels for sure, 15 by 7. That's actually, so one thing I was worried about with this wheel, and there's not a lot of good photos and evidence of these things online. They don't really show you the kind of depth and curvature they got to them. And so, even though this is what I believe is the 7, it's still got a nice cave in right there. Nice concave look. So let's grab one of them 8s. Oh, baby. I'm just excited. I'm giddy. Alrighty. Alright, so yes, that indeed does have a deeper dish to it, deeper offset. So, anybody who's interested in buying these wheels, I am not sponsored in any way. Vision, I sent you an email and you guys ignored me. I got these through Jegs, who still luckily had them in stock, and they were about the cheapest wheel I could find that fit the motif I was after. And I am really happy with the look of them. And I really don't know how they're going to look on the old Polara, because every stock photo I've seen, there's only like 5 cars on the whole of the internet with these on, and they all got little wussy tires except for one Chevy truck. One white Chevy truck. Guy at Amazon, thank you for putting big meaty tires of raised white letters, because they helped me make the decision on actually pulling the trigger on these. So now let's see how they look. All right, so I just want to give you one look without the tripod and just show you what you get, because this is stuff that there's no videos on these things, there's no good pictures. There's the part number for the 15x8. There's one by the 7. This is 3 3/4 backspace, and this is 4 1/2 backspace, so they're perfectly centered wheels, which, even though they're perfectly centered, it still has a beautiful dish. I can't say enough. I was really worried that these things were going to wind up being flat out here with no dish or offset to them, because the pictures don't show them that well. But yeah, and if we decide we don't like this gray, we thought about doing a gold, either a dark bronze. We can do a lot of different things. We can polish this stuff up. So many things we can do with these wheels. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. Now, we need to get these things on the driver's side of the car, because it's the side that always goes flat thanks to these steel wheels. And then we're going to be able to put our 15.8 on there, and we'll be able to double check before we buy any more tires. We got two 55/70s, and I'm thinking a 275/60 is going to be the money maker for the back tire. So we'll be able to measure and make sure that's going to fit properly before we buy it. And we've already got our front tires. Thank you to Ryan Barsness. Unfortunately, it means we got to buy BF Goodrich radial TAs to match on the back. Okay, so here's just a little update on the Vision wheel fitment here. We got the rear guy on, and yeah, we were going to pull the car up, but it was just going to be a real pain in the neck. So, I mean, we're just using a lot of imagination right now, because we got to figure out what kind of tire we can fit underneath it here. So with the wheel sitting on here, I can see where our lip is. Oh yeah, we're actually pretty good in here. We got plenty of wheel lip, plenty of space. Probably a 275/60. We got easy. We got plenty of room to leave spring, that's for sure. So I don't think we're gonna have too much issues with a good sized tire underneath here. So alrighty folks, so with the help of Anna, who is sporting the very stylish Jezebel Scott Speed Shop t-shirt today, I am not, because I'm wearing just an old ratty t-shirt. So Anna, I'm gonna hold this for a second and show the viewers down here at the wheel, and I will try to explain this with my hands. Alrighty, so here we are with our Vision wheel, and we are making sure we get the right tire size. It's kind of like buying a torque converter for your 340 with W2 heads. You only want to buy once. And while I've bought 4 or 5 different sets of wheels and tires for this daggone thing, this is the last set I'm buying. So we're taking our time, and we're using a tire size calculator I've used for years on all of our cars. And right now with this 8-inch wheel, we're looking at a 275/60, which according to that tire size calculator is 10.8 inches wide. So that roughly means, since it's 10.8 inches wide, we'll call it 11 inches. That would be 1.5 inches on either side sticking out, more or less. So then I'm going to take my tape measure right here. And I'm going to measure from the outside lip here to give me plenty of extra room. Probably need to measure from here, but don't matter to me. And you go from 1/2 inch mark there. Anna can hold that. And now we also know off of our calculator, which if you guys had it, you would know that our tire is 6.5 inches tall. So we're going to get 6.5 mark right on the top of that tape measure, right at the 1.5 inch mark. And according to that, if I keep everything straight, which we've already measured this, it puts us touching right here in the quarter panel. So that size is an Ixnay, and I have all the weight on the suspension pushing up on this, so it's completely bottomed out, and we don't want any kind of rubbing on this car. So the tire size we've decided to go with is a 255/60, because it's 10 inches wide, it's about 27 inches tall, and it will match perfectly to the front, which will be basically the same, but just a little bit narrower. So the tire will have a 2-inch bulge on this wheel and the same on the front. They'll both be 27 inches tall. I think it's a match made in heaven. So we'll order tires, and we'll catch you back when I can afford those and they get here. Alrighty guys and gals, so we are back. Oh, can't see that one. And we finally got our tires, and I did settle on a tire size. Can I remember what it is? I don't know. That'd be the 255/60. I ended up doing a couple more measurements literally the morning before I bought these tires. Well, that's another story. And decided to go with the 255/60, which is 27 by 10, versus the 275/60, which is the more conventional, more popular pick, which was 28 by 10.5 more or less. This is going to work out beautifully, and we just went ahead and laid her up there just to get an idea. And oh yeah, as soon as FedEx figures out what happened to my other BFG tire, I'll be getting those mounted along with the front ones from Ryan on the other Vision wheels, and we'll roll this puppy out and take a look at her and see how she looks sitting on them Vision wheels. And seriously, I am not being sponsored by Vision. They never even replied to my email, and this has been like a week plus since I started filming this, so they don't care. And I don't care that they didn't sponsor us or anything. It's just the fact that I really dig these wheels, and I'm really hoping they look good on the car, because some of these other cars won't be as picky. All right, hopefully that other tire shows up. Okie dokie, we are back, and we finally got our other tire. It showed up on FedEx yesterday, and what's actually kind of worrying is when you get a brand new tire, the letters are blue and they got that sticker there. This guy showed up with most of the blue wiped off. The sticker is there, but you can see witness marks on the bead where maybe a rim was mounted at one time. Not real sure about that, but I don't really care. I'm not going to argue. One other thing I did notice, these older BFGs, look at the lines in there. Well, these are the new BFGs. And then we're going to go and look at these older pair. And when I say older pair, this pair is from like 2014, 2016. But you see the difference in these older ones versus the new ones. Quite interesting. But we got all of our Vision wheels, the 2.7s right here and the 2.8s. Now we're gonna head down to the tire shop and get all this stuff mounted. Alrighty guys and gals, so I just want to give you a sneak peek. And I want to proudly just show off a local business here. These guys are fan-freaking-tastic. If you're in this area or anywhere close, you need tires done, they're worth the drive. Great job, fellers. Really friendly, really awesome. Heck, they didn't even give me a chance to go do anything else. We just sat there and hung out. So, let's get back to the Polara. I know that we are all really tired of seeing this car in this state, and we want to see this thing outside with the new wheels and tires, but I got to tell you a really tragic truth that happened, and it's the fact that I thought I was going to keep this car fairly original, and so I figured the front wheel had never been, the lug studs were still left-handed, and I wasn't going to bother changing those. So this wheel was actually missing 3 lug studs. And I remember my brother and I went on a big hunt when my buddy George showed up, and George was part of this. We were trying to find left-handed lug studs. So I had all these replaced to left-handed, and only to find out the front has already been converted. So here I am now, reconverting this, getting rid of the original Chrysler left-handers. Got a metric crap load of these guys. I thought we were going to do Erlene as well, but like this one's fully seated. This one is not. This one's fully seated. This one is also not fully seated. All I'm doing is I got a regular socket here, and I got 2 big mag washers here that'll clear over this for the brake drum, the shoulder. And then when I'm done, I come back with 2 bigger washers and the bigger impact. And you want to make sure, see, that's not fully seated. Fully seated, not fully seated, fully seated, definitely not. That's what we're working on. So once I get all these done, then we get to put the wheels on. If this works, fully seated. That probably went out of focus, but hopefully that shows what we're doing. When you're done, you zip your lug nut off. There we go. You pull your washers off. Be careful, these may be warm. When you're done, the shoulder is fully revealed. We are fully pressed in, which I will double check that. I'm just looking at it through the camera lens. And once I verified that is fully seated, move on to the next one, get them all done, and then it's all right-handed thread. Alrighty guys and gals, this is the last time we're gonna see this car with these gold slots mounted on her, so let's just savor this moment, because one of our tires is missing. And by missing, I mean it may be on the back of the car, and all we gotta do is get the front one on and then the other side and mount her and roll her out for y'all. You guys and gals ready for this? Because Lord knows I am. I spent a little bit of time designing this thing, and so, oh my.
I like the front.
Oh, you should see this side.
Let me get a really good close-up of the front.
Just, you gotta see the side I'm seeing. Whoa.
Holy, look at that. That is so cool.
Tony wasn't kidding when he said he could legitimately print a freaking photograph. Holy crap, the detail. So if you'll excuse me for a minute, Anna, can you click that pause button? And here I am, and I ordered an XL, and I got just enough room. I like this thing. The logo is perfectly on my left man boob, so if you guys are worried about that, it perfectly covers it, so that way you only got to worry about this guy, which is easily covered by a man purse, or aka a satchel, but the back is probably, oh, I can only imagine. I got to stop designing my stuff with the designs on the back because I can't see them. If you guys want one of these bad boys, that link is in the description below of every video from now on. There will be Jezebel themed t-shirts in the future, and whatever other cars, you know, I have time to design for you. Because I think this is an awesome shirt. I think you guys will be very happy with it. So I know I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna go work on my 64 Dodge now in my barely good t-shirt. See you guys later. Hoo-wee! Good golly, Miss Molly, that is freaking incredible. I really dig the heck out of that. Oh yeah. I love how that's filled that out back there. And the rear, on both sides, filled it out beautifully. The front 15x7s clear everything beautifully. Of course, we need to get some weight in the front end to bring her down, but yeah, I am really happy with that. Bring you on around, give you a little more of a different view. Yeah, I don't think I could be much happier with that combo. And I do believe I could have gone to the 275/60 here in the rear. Just by looking at it now, I've got plenty of room everywhere, but if I decide to bring the car back down to more of a stock ride height, I'd probably have an issue. But overall, they're basically the same size, front and rear, just the rear one's a lot wider. 2 inches wider, actually. So, yeah, very stoked with that. So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think. Think they look a little too modern? Think they look cool? I still think they would have looked pretty dang cool with a gold finish to them, but who knows? We're not done with it yet. So, now that's done, let's get the opinions of old Dad Nana, because, well, their opinions, just like your opinions, matter to me. So, let's wait for them to get home. Well, so, what do you feller and non-feller think?
I like it.
I was still going.
No, that was for the other project. That's for the other project that's down the road that the viewers get to see later. So what do you think?
I think it's cool.
You dig it?
I think it's probably worth all that fretting about.
Definitely. I feel like I could have still gone maybe a 28 in the back, but I don't know if I would have wanted to grown any more to the wheel arch.
I think it looks like it fits perfectly.
Yeah, I like the dish to it and everything on it. And I'll go ahead and tell you, those BF Goodriches, that blue does not come off of that as easy. Like when I was cleaning the blue off Orleans whites, oh, it came off pretty easy. That blue on their tires, oh, what a nightmare. I'm so glad the front ones were used from Ryan, because they already been rubbed off. But no, I am pretty happy with it. I want to lower the back. Of course, when we get weight in the front, it's going to come down. But you know, it's got, in the back of this car, underneath this car, not only do we have the lifted shackles, but we also have shock extensions with air shocks. So I'm thinking we could probably just live with the shock extenders and lose the shackles, or at least go up a couple rungs in that bar, because the car really doesn't have to sit this high in the back. Not with basically the stock size tire. It's basically a 27-inch tall tire is what it is. And stock would have been about a 26.5. And so I just want to shroud a little bit more of that tire. But I'm really happy with it. I'm glad you guys dig it.
I think it looks slick as heck.
I think it's cool.
Cool. So we ready to start getting motivated to finish the rest of the floors and drop a powertrain in this thing and get her rocking and rolling?
I reckon.
Groovy.
Just another one of them projects.
So, whenever that happens, guys, gals, everybody in between, you'll see it. So, look forward to seeing the next one. As always, take care and
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
and bye-bye.
Oh.